Okay, guys, welcome back to Mediocre Gamer Man. Today we're going to be doing another Raid Shadow Legends video, talking about the recent video that Plarium actually put out about what's next for Raid Shadow Legends. First off, I want to start this by saying I know this is a little bit behind where some of the other YouTubers have already posted videos about the reactions. I decided I wanted to wait a little bit and talk to some of the people in the community, especially in my clan, and see kind of what they thought about it. And then also I wanted to take a chance for me to actually, watch the video a couple of times and see what the community as a whole kind of, felt like. And generally it's all good. Some of it's like, well, this should have been done before. And there's a few other things that people have said. We're going ahead and get into that. But first off, clan tournaments. This is the thing that everybody's kind of been talking about for a long time. PvP clans was something that's been talked about by quite a few people for at least the last year. And the arena was, great in the beginning, but it always felt like the clans were missing something. Even from the very beginning, you got in the clan, you did it for clan boss. Most clans, I was in clans in the beginning, nobody even talked. It was as long as you were hitting the clan boss, nobody cared what you did. And nobody ever really said anything. Clans have gotten more social now. I think it's becoming more of a social aspect, especially with like Discord and stuff becoming more prevalent. So I think clans really needed something to create a more, I think, a competitive environment, things for clans to do together. And this is, to me, the idea of clan tournaments is a great idea. Things you're already doing that give you points that can get you rewards. And you do this as a clan. So, it's kind of, and from what I can see, from what I've watched the video, it looks like certain activities like getting, dungeon content done, getting campaign content, arena, all of those seem to have a point limit. If you look at the video, there's a limit to the number of points you can get. So it seems like you have to kind of coordinate with your team, with your clan, to determine who's going to do what to get the most points without overmaxing, so that you can spread it out and get points in all of the areas that allow you to without, wasting energy and time. Which, if you really think about that, is actually a really good way to do it. It creates this necessity for team communication and organization, which is kind of lacking right now in clans. And some of the higher clans, of course, you got people who can, one key the Ultra Nightmare boss, and they're not really doing anything else. They just go in, they hit Ultra Nightmare, they hit Nightmare, they hit Brutal. The whole clan gets points. It's great. With the tournaments, you're looking at people actually needing to organize to make sure you're getting all of those points so that you get the double reward, so that you beat the other clan. And I think that it's a really good idea, and I think people are missing that part of what Plarium's intending with this. The second thing is, they did say that clan PvP is coming, and I think that it's a good idea for them to wait to do that later. I know a lot of people are saying they should do that first, but maybe not. I want you to think about this ahead of time, or well, not think about this ahead of time, but I want you to think about this in Plarium's stead, maybe. If they were to drop clan versus clan PvP first, before they drop these tournaments, and it floundered, the community would be in an uproar, an absolute uproar over how bad it is. I think that by starting the tournament system, allowing people to kind of get a feel for how this clan versus clan, and have them get a feel for how the clan versus clan's working, and then on top of that, give them time to really buckle down on how this clan versus clan PvP is going to work, probably with something similar to the tournament style system they're going to have, and put that in place. I think if they can perfect it, if they can drop it the way it needs to be dropped, it's going to be an amazing thing, and everybody's going to be happy. I'm perfectly fine with waiting for quality content. That's the big thing for me, is quality over quantity. So speaking of quality, and things that they're bringing in, there's going to be rewards. And these rewards include some new accessories. Now, I'm actually really excited about these accessories. I think one of them's really cool, and one of them could be really, really broken. And one of them, the first one needs to be explained a little bit better, too. The first one's actually called, it's called the Blood Shield set. Well, it's not a set. Each piece of these accessories gives you a 5% shield. It gives you a shield based on 5% of the damage done on attacks, which basically means your attack champions, any of them, even the defense. I mean, think about this. A lot of people were talking about making squishy champions tougher, but think about your high attack champions being able to put a shield on themselves, but they're defense based. Your defensive, your HP based attackers, the ones that already have a huge amount of survivability, being able to increase their own survivability by adding a shield after their attack. One piece of this, just one, increases or gives you a 5% shield based on damage done. 3 pieces gives you a 15%, or gives you 15% of damage done as a shield. Now they do say it doesn't give you shield based on poison damage. I would assume that also means HP burn, because HP burn is 3% of the max HP. So you're talking about clan boss and stuff. 3% of their max HP is more than your HP. So I don't think it's going to include HP burn because like they said with poison, it's probably going to be broken. But they also said masteries, and this is the key part. They said poison and masteries that deal damage based on max HP, meaning Giant Slayer and War Master. What they did not say, and this is where I think it needs some explanation, they said nothing about champs that do damage based on max HP. Coldheart, Septimus, Royal Guard. They didn't include skills that do damage based on max HP, only masteries that do damage based on max HP. If it doesn't include skills, your Septimus, your Coldheart, your Royal Guard, and your Armiger just got a survivability boost that rivals anything else. I mean, think about the amount of damage that Septimus does. The second set that's coming out is Reaction. Now, this one is going to be the one that's going to be broken. Completely 100% broken, I think, because the way it works is you have a 25% chance with just one of these artifacts, or one of these accessories, excuse me. With one of these accessories, you have a 25% chance of turning a crit hit into a normal hit. That alone is broken, because a lot of the things that you need to do for Arena is, and if you think about it, some bosses too that hit for crit in certain areas, but mostly for Arena, and especially if we're going to be doing clan versus clan Arena, like PvP, it's going to create this really weird meta, because 25% chance for your strongest attackers to basically do minimal damage, because right now the meta is to build that crit damage. Well, when you add 3 of these accessories, you're bringing that chance up to a 75% chance. That means a 3 out of 4% chance of the person wearing that gear is going to be hit with an attack that is nowhere close to what the attacker intends. So, a build where your whole team is built on these, because they're just accessories. That basically means, from what I can understand, they're accessories that have an added benefit. Does that mean that their stats are going to be different? Because if their stats aren't different, think about the gap this is going to create in those clans that can win all the time and those clans that can't. Because just equipping one, even if you get a terrible piece, equipping one of these reaction gear is going to be such an increase in your survivability that losing like that little bit of defense on that ring slot, or that I don't know that it's going to make up for accuracy on the banner slot, but other things, it's going to create a gap in power. So I think Reaction probably needs to Plarium needs to definitely gauge the reaction of the community on the reaction set to determine how they need to fix it. Now, granted, the one thing about the reaction set is there is a little bit of a kind of caveat to it. It only counts when you're attacked before your first turn in a round. So from the way that sounds, if you still go first, or if you if you, no, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about this backwards. That means you don't need to build speed anymore. So it's going to create a speed gap because people who go faster are going to lose out on damage. So for your arena now, you can build straight 100% damage and drop your speed as far as you can. Slower champs are now going to be more powerful because they're going to go after, allowing them to still hit crit. That's something I don't think anybody's thought about. No more speed in arena. Arena is going to be the slowest place ever. No speed boosters, no nothing. Arbiter's going to be taken off of speed teams. Haikatoon's going to be taken off of arena teams. It's going to be the slowest champions that deal the most damage so that you don't take the chance of losing out to reaction gear. That's going to be a fun meta to work with. So we'll see how that plays out. This is going along a lot longer than I thought. But number 2 is they're going to be doing some new content like champion tags where you can tag your champions with different markers like this champion's for arena, this champion's for ice golem, this champion's for clan boss. I'm hoping they have a brutal notorious, a brutal nightmare and ultra nightmare. Every time I see NM, I think of Final Fantasy XI, where NM was a notorious monster or like a specialty monster. It's just old school Final Fantasy XI guy here. I think champion tags is going to be a great idea because it's going to allow you to see at a glance what your champions are built for if you have multiples, or if you're sitting there looking through it's like, man, I don't remember what my Ice Golem team is. I haven't used it in a while. Let me see if I can't work on my Ice Golem team a little bit more. Things like that I think is going to be really useful, especially for, early to mid-game players really setting apart designations for stuff. Especially early on to kind of get a feel for, where they can put certain teams. And because as an early game player, you don't know a lot of the champs as much as the people who have them. So it's good for having those designations for certain things. The second part of this new content is AI overrides. This reminds me of Final Fantasy XII, now that we're talking about Final Fantasy stuff, where you were able to basically give your characters an AI that determined how they reacted in battle. I don't think it's going to be that intense. It'd be really nice if it was, if you could do if-then statements. But I think that would be too much. I think that would create some very weird things within the game code, probably causing some very strange metas or difficult metas to come out. I think it would be a little bit too much for most people. So I think they're going to do something very minimalistic where you can say, don't use your A3, don't use your A2 at the beginning of battle. Wait until you have, hopefully they do something like wait until you have increased attack before Ultimate Gaelic does his A3. Things like that. I think that would be an amazing change to how the game plays out. Would save a lot of people, would save them a lot of programming time having to fix some of these champions for arena like they had to do with Madame Saris and getting rid of her using her skill that she shouldn't in the beginning. You don't need to strip buffs if you're going first. Sorry, I have my notes on little note cards. The next one is 2 new Doom Tower bosses. One of them looks like a flying dragon, but not like the dragon, but like a more Spyro-ish dragon that looks a little bit meaner. I think this is actually a really good idea because there are some Doom Tower bosses, in particular this account, has a hard time with the Scarab King. I'm working on it right now because I never built this account for shield champs. So, I have Miscreated Monster, but Miscreated Monster isn't the best champion for the Scarab King, especially if he's not booked, because he doesn't put the shield up enough. And I have Valerie, but the problem is I put Valerie and I don't have enough destroy gear. I didn't build for Scarab King, and I'm having to do that now. I think putting in those extra bosses is going to create, a little bit more variety in Doom Tower. I think it's going to give them that difficulty level that they were originally going for, because there's going to be more variety in the skill sets you have to have and the builds you're going to have for it. But I think it's going to be fun getting to the point that you can beat those things. And it will give people like me an opportunity to do different bosses instead of being stuck on Scarab King until I have a team that can beat it. I have a team that can beat it. I just don't have the gear to beat it yet. So that's definitely what I'm working on. But I really like that. They're really up in the game, I think, with content being pushed out. And last but not least, on this part of it, new dungeon levels. Looks like they're bringing all the dungeons up to 25. Hopefully with 25 being all 6-star gear. So that would definitely be a push to make. Would definitely help, of course, in-game players really push to get that gear. I know it kind of would be a well scenario, but I mean, really, creating new content for people who have already done it all is part of how you build a long-term game. So, you know, new players have so much they have to get through to get to that point anyway, that by the time they're there, you know, it's time for them to kind of push forward. There's always new content for you to get through. And that's an important thing in any game for its longevity. Longevity. That's the word. But yeah, really excited about the new levels. I'm hoping they do Minotaur. I say Minnow because I say that in game. Minotaur to 20. All the the keeps to 20 would make such a huge change in farming. Minotaur at 20, if you got like, say, 20 or 25 even of the gold scrolls, the amount of time saved, even if it's 4 or 5 energy more, would be just phenomenal. So the last two, real quick, I want to throw these out here, and we're going to go over the new faction in a different video. But they've got a new faction, and they're doing something with Ascension. They said something about doing something with Ascension. Ascension is going to be more than just, you know, having a new bonus part to your skill or a new skill opening and just a couple of stat increases. I don't know what they're planning. They showed off this weird creature that's got a front and a back. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm kind of excited for a new game mechanic. That could be real fun if implemented properly, really bad if it's implemented poorly and it's only for people who pay. The faction side of it, though, the Shadowkin, all of them look phenomenal. I mean, Raid has a really good way of making this artwork that invites you in. That's the reason why I started playing, was I saw the artwork. It looks fantastic, 100% phenomenal. The champions, honestly, I could take them or leave them. I'm not super excited about any of them. I'm probably going to try for the fusion one. I may just go for the epics and leave the legendary, because the legendary seems kind of meh. I mean, he's got some uses, but not in any of my teams. Some of the epics, however, are pretty epic. They're not top tier, but they don't go below A tier in my book. They're all A tier to S tier. None of them are God tier, but A to S tier. Like, some of them have got some really phenomenal uses if you don't have anything else. But none of them overtake any of the current champions, which I'm kind of disappointed in. There needs to be, if they're going to bring in a new faction, there needs to be at least one champion that makes a difference to people who already have a good smattering of champions. But all in all, I'm really excited about where Plarium's going with this. They've been really good about consistent updates recently. You know, they're giving constant free stuff every day. You know, brews and energy and silver, and I think people have kind of gotten used to it now. But I mean, I really want you to think about what it says about them as a company that they're giving out just free stuff every day. I mean, I constantly have energy in my box now because of this. And energy is the most important resource in this game. Anybody can say what they want. Silver is super important, but you get silver with energy. And you get other things with it. You want silver, you farm spiders. If you don't have energy, you can't farm. If you don't have silver, you can't upgrade your artifacts. But if you have energy, you can get that silver. Energy can get you those ancient shards. Energy can get you, in some cases, gems with events and stuff. Energy is the most important thing, and Plarium's giving it for free. That is a super important thing to think about. I know everybody talks about their pay-to-win tactics. They're a company just like any other. They're there to make money. Nobody at Plarium is sitting there at their cubicle going, today I'm going to make new content. I'm going to do it for free. They've got mouths to feed at home, even if it's just their own mouth. I can't say that I'm super happy with their monetization tactics in all aspects, but at the same time, I think something has to be said for the fact that they are constantly trying to improve the game. They may not always get it right, but there's never been a company in this world that's done it right 100% of the time. It just happens. That's just the way of it. They're trying to do what's right for them and what's right for us at the same time, and I can respect that. But enough about this. I know this video is kind of going on longer. I wasn't planning on making it this long, but thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next Raid Shadow Legends video.